Hi, how are you this evening? Well, this is the Hound Dog coming to you from Plenty of Fish in my office. I've been a subscriber to Plenty of Fish for about 8 years now, and I wanted to make a few comments because I've been seeing a few videos on YouTube about people who are actually not very satisfied with Plenty of Fish. So anyways, I wanted to make my own video because, as I say, I've been on here for about 8 years now, and I've had actually some very good experiences on Plenty of Fish. Now, I will preface this by saying that I'm looking for women in the 55 to 70-year-old age group. I'm 62 myself, and so this is the kind of a broad area that I'm going to be discussing with my experiences on Plenty of Fish. So firstly, I guess I would say that just about the vast majority of the female profiles or the women's profiles that are on Plenty of Fish for me, and the women that I've met from dating, have actually been pretty sincere. Their intentions were genuine. I think my biggest issue would be out-of-date photographs. You know, when you arrive on a date, the person isn't quite the person that you thought you were going to be meeting, and so I would encourage you all to have, you know, up-to-date, accurate photographs of yourself. Another issue that I don't like about Plenty of Fish, or the profiles on Plenty of Fish, is no photograph. You know, here we are in the 21st century. Just about everybody has a mobile or a cell phone now that will take pictures anywhere. Selfies and selfie sticks have become the norm. So really there is absolutely no excuse for not being able to put up a full body shot and a good face shot. If any of you are concerned about what people might think, I guess it's a little too late, because you're on a dating website, and at some point you're going to have to meet. So I am always upfront and honest with my appearance, and let people know, you know, what they're going to be dealing with when they meet me. I try and keep my profile not a long you know, description of myself, but an adequate description. I find when I'm reading profiles, wow, if it's like 10 paragraphs, you've lost me on the third paragraph. That's a little too long. But one of the complaints that women seem to have with Plenty of Fish is the guys don't read the profile, they just look at the pictures. I think you'll find that actually most of the good guys do read the profiles, and a lot of the sharks don't read the profiles. They're just looking at the pictures because they are looking for a one-night stand. Now, sadly, you know, on the dates that I've met, because you know, I do make inquiries, you know, and chat about things over the course of the evening, what their experiences have been on Plenty of Fish, and many of the women do say that a lot of the emails they get are sexually oriented and quite rude. This must be fairly common out there, because I even noticed that on the profiles that I read, you know, that women will say, no one-night stands, if you're only interested in sex, don't email me, this kind of stuff, don't like liars and cheats. So it sounds like there are quite a few shark-like people out there looking for women. And as I say, from a guy's perspective, and I think most guys my age would agree, that most of the women that you contact are pretty sincere. And like I say, the problem I've had is out-of-date photographs, but you know, and that's really not, it's not a killer, it's not rude, it's just, it's a little surprising sometimes when you show up for dinner. But other than that, as I say, I live in a small village. I don't do the bar scene, so it is difficult to meet people, and especially in a dating or a single situation. Although another good website to go to is meetups. Certainly here in Ontario, I don't know whether it stretches outside of Ontario, but meetups is groups of people who are getting together to do various activities from photography to hiking to biking to meditating to whatever you want to get into. You can start your own group, and this is another way to meet singles actually. But anyways, my experiences with Plenty of Fish have been in general pretty good. I think if there's one thing that I would put out there is if you have somebody send you a message, and in my case it would be to a woman, it would be nice to get a reply, even if you're not interested. A simple message like thanks for your interest, but I don't see a connection, happy fishing would suffice, and it would just kind of round out the communications thing, give you a sense of community, that everyone's on the same page, that we're kind of some kind of brethren. And maybe that's going a little too far on a dating website, but there's something special about Plenty of Fish. Plenty of Fish to me it's a free website. This is the first big thing. It's a free website, and so you get every walk of life out there appearing on Plenty of Fish. And it is sad to say, especially for the women, that this means that there's going to be a lot of sharks floating around. But that's true in real life too. So I'm hoping that you can ignore some of the ruder emails that you get, and hopefully you get enough good ones to keep you willing to stay on Plenty of Fish. And but I would recommend that you respond. It's nice. It's a nice feeling when somebody at least acknowledges that they received your email. And I know I respond to every woman that has written to me, and just a simple reply, either a yay or a nay, because I know how that feels. So I like to continue that feeling within the community. And strangely enough, there are women that I'm still in contact with now on Plenty of Fish. We still email each other occasionally just to check in and say hi and see how things are going. And so it does form a kind of dating community out there in the in cyberspace. So I've only had one bad experience in 8 years, which I won't go into, but it was, nothing happened, but it could have been dangerous. So I'm not unduly concerned with the kind of dates that I'm meeting on Plenty of Fish. Women, I think you need to be very critical of who you're contacting on Plenty of Fish. You've got to remember that online it is so easy. I could put up any photographs that I want to put up on Plenty of Fish. I can write anything in my profile that I want to write in my profile, and it could be true, it could be not true, and you must be very, very aware of that. I think women, unfortunately and sadly, are still far more vulnerable in our society than men are to some kind of violence being perpetrated on them. And so I would use extreme caution. Make sure, meet in a public place, meet somewhere where it's safe. And I always do that, because I like to create safety when I am talking to somebody online. So I will always suggest a coffee shop in a very public place, so that there are people around. It's always a good safe feeling between both parties. And if there's no chemistry there, or if it isn't working, or even going for dinner, it's the same thing. It's a public place, it's a safe arena, and it means you can meet each other in a safe environment and speak freely, and decide whether there's some chemistry or something in common to consider a second date. But so do be cautious. Well, it seems to me from the dates that I've had, it doesn't matter how you portray yourself as a woman on Plenty of Fish, there are going to be lots of sharks swimming around. So do be aware of that, and try not to take it too personally. It's just, sadly, that is the way things are right now. But in general, as I say, I live in a small town, I don't do the bar scene. This is a great way for me to go on dates, have dinner with somebody, which is always a pleasant experience. And of course, I'm at the age right now where even just flirting for the evening makes for quite an interesting evening. My God, when I was a younger man, I probably would not have said those words that I just said. But as you mature, things change, and you appreciate someone for their company. Just they're sitting down over dinner and having a good conversation, as much as anything else. So I use Plenty of Fish not as a smorgasbord of dates, but just to go out occasionally. And sure, I'd like to meet somebody long term. That always starts with a first date, and but as you get older, wow, things change. Things change a lot, and I would suggest to all of you young people who might come across this video that whilst you are thinking about getting together as a couple, think a little long term. I know this is it doesn't ride well, and I don't know whether I would listen to this advice myself when I was a younger man. But when I met my partner, with whom I had 2 children, we weren't talking about retirement. We weren't thinking about how we were going to get along together. We were really talking about how compatible we were as a family unit, how good we were as parents, parenting. Those were the big issues when we were dating. And of course, we were caught up in the first blush of a relationship, and so those hormones were really rolling along. So the last thing we were thinking of was what happens towards the end of the journey. And of course, those really are important questions. I see it all the time. I know that all of you that are watching this video, when you go out into a coffee shop or into a restaurant, I know you've seen those couples. They're sitting there and they're just looking at each other and they're chewing and they ain't talking. Those are the people who didn't discuss when they were younger what they were going to do in retirement. So don't let your life, you don't have to make a big focus, but don't let your life be ruined by not thinking long term. And this person that you're meeting is not just a good mother, not just, and from a guy's point of view, a good mother, a good wife, but a good friend. That you have things in common. That you want to go hiking, or you want to go dancing, or you want to go clubbing, or whatever it is. You have to make sure that you have similar paths in life. If you're outgoing and the other person is a stay-at-home, this is going to create problems. It's funny when I look back on it, the little things like food likes and dislikes. You know how many problems it causes in relationships just because one partner has a food like or a change in diet and the other one can't accept that? One of the big issues in my relationship with my former partner, she used to go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night and she'd be up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And you know what? I like to stay up till 11:30 at night and sleep in till 7 in the morning. And on the weekends, on Sunday, I like to lay in bed till 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, which again seems outrageous. When I was young, noon was not a problem at all. But anyways, that small issue, when we went out in the evening, I'm a pretty sociable kind of guy, and I like talking to friends and meeting new people. And when you have a partner who is looking at their clock at 9 o'clock and going, oh, can we go, honey? That's an issue. That it doesn't seem so at first, but after 10, 15, 20 years, that kind of issue starts to really show itself up. So think about these little things, when you're in a relationship, because now is the time. I was told once that relationships are 3, 7, and 10. These are the difficult areas. 3 years into a relationship is a bit of a hurdle. 7 years into a relationship is a bit of a hurdle. 10 years into a relationship, usually this is the make or break. And I'll tell you, by the time you've reached 10 years in a relationship, you are so entwined as far as finances are concerned, living is concerned, possessions are concerned. Breaking up now is a real issue. It's not just an emotional thing. You were talking big losses on both sides. Okay, so this is worth discussing before rather than after. And you know, there's a lot of old sayings that we don't use anymore in our society, but there is one that says, marry in haste, repent at leisure. So this is what I found, you know, dating at my age is I'm not thinking about having children anymore. I'm thinking about how am I going to get along with this person. So a lot of my concern is around compatibility on a friendship level basis, and not just a having children, raising a family, sexual basis. Okay, so yeah, things change as you get older. Things change as you get older. But anyways, in rounding this out, I can say to anybody, I would recommend Plenty of Fish as a dating website. You're going to find it interesting, if nothing else. Put up a full profile, post your pictures, a good headshot and a good body shot, and be honest about yourself. Be honest about what you're looking for, and I'm sure that you will have a lot of good success. Anyway, this is the Hound Dog ranting about Plenty of Fish. Good night.